Welcome to Geocache Adventures, the podcast where we explore everything geocaching. I'm your host, Shadow Dragon 1. I love geocaching. If you're listening to this, you probably love it too. If you enjoy the podcast, consider sharing it with somebody that you think would love it. You can also follow the podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and there's a Facebook group as well, so you can join in the fun and share your adventures. There's also a Patreon page that you can join and unlock exclusive content. Hey everybody, Amy, Shadow Dragon 1 here. One of my favorite things about the podcast is the cache highlight at the end of most episodes. Sometimes it's me sharing a cache that I have found. Most of the time it's a guest sharing a cache that they have found or sometimes hidden. And I really love that part of the podcast. So I thought it would be fun to put together a cache highlights reel. So here are some cache highlights from season 3. And you can find links to each of them in the show notes page.
So this is ShareBear64's The Case of the Fingered Killer AL bonus. And the and then the GC code is GC9HJEK. And it's a bonus cache for the Adventure Lab CBM5. It is a sequential because she's telling a story.
Okay.
And you are trying to identify who the killer is. She takes you to an area, starts telling you the story. It's hilarious, by the way. Her use of puns and so forth is fantastic. And you are collecting evidence at each location. When you get to answer the question and you answer the question right, she is presenting additional evidence, a coroner's report, a towing company's report. And all this information is important for you to solve the mystery and be able to get the bonus cache. And she takes you to different areas. Again, she's not, describing Bottle Village right there, but she's taking you to Bottle Village. And it's just fantastic. And then at the end, at the bonus, she has two sections. One is for the people who love to do mysteries and love to do puzzles and so forth. And she's, gives you this little section, and all the information is there. Sandy and Sunny from the Podcaster just did it, and they love puzzles, so they did it the way that it was intended to be done. But for other people, and I think she might have actually put this in just for me, going, Scott, we're never going to be able to get this bonus if I don't do something. So she has a little cheat, and basically the cheat is now you have to read the description and follow directions. So, it only took me a couple times to figure that one out. But it is a fantastic upper level adventure lab, and then everything ties in to get the bonus.
So the bonus cache, did she theme the container to tie in with the story anyway, or is it just a standard?
She did.
Oh,
yes, she did. And I think that's one thing that that most people aren't appreciating, is that where the bonus is hidden is something that she made and installed, and it fits right in. She is very, very clever in hiding and creating her geocaches, in that they fit in where they're hidden.
So you could be looking right at it and have no idea you're looking at it. Is that the type of thing we're talking about?
If you've ever seen like a little sign that flips open and the geocache is behind the sign, that's what she's kind of known for. That kind of cleverness. So, yeah.
Oh, now I really want to do this adventure lab, but it's a very long ways from Missouri.
It
to
is a
where
very
this
long
is
ways
at.
from Missouri. But when you come out, I'll take you to all the Share Bear 64 geocaches, and you will pretty much be blown away.
Sounds good.
Did you have a particular cache you wanted to tell us about?
I would love to. It's
Okay.
called Town and Country.
So it's GC7DBE9.
And I might give away a few spoilers. So if folks don't want to hear it, that's okay. They can fast forward through this part or whatever they choose to do. Town and Country is a DT rating 1.5, 1.0. It's a micro, but here's the thing. You pull up to it, it looks like a lamppost. Let me read the description to you. Quick PNG, very kid-friendly, much stealth needed. High Muggle presence. It's on the backside of a mall. Are you the kind of cacher who prefers to cache in town or the kind of cacher who prefers to cache in the country? Would you rather find a park and grab at a parking lot or an ammo can in the woods? Well, this cache and its sister cache, and then it has a link to the sister cache called Town in Country or Country in Town. It doesn't matter. They've both got a little bit for everyone. The only thing in this cache is movable, and it's obvious, so please do not try to move anything else. There are souvenir tokens for everyone while supplies last. Please take one. If you'd like to leave swag, it will be very small. There is one token for the FTF. Congratulations to Deaf Cachers for the FTF. They're folks who live here in town. So originally it was put out by Team Cat Lemur. Fantastic folks. And then it got adopted by WONXM. So this cache, you go up to a lamppost, standard little micro, nano, that's what you're expecting.
Right.
And it's magnetized, that's what you're expecting. You lift the lamppost, and there's a teeny tiny 3D printed world under the lamppost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I saw that and I was like, man, this is so creative. So I had to give that one a favorite point, of course. And then when you're looking around, there's so many details that you look at. And then you look at the cache, of course, the whole reason why you're peeking under a lamppost. The cache is the teeny tiny container. It's about the size of a quarter, and it's maybe aluminum, and you open it up, and there's the cache right in there.
So, were you able to get one of the coins it talked about in the description?
I was.
So, how big is that? Because they can't be very, if it's fitting in a quarter-size container, they must be tiny.
Yes, the coins are 3D printed as well. They
Okay.
are about, like my pinky fingernail, so a little bit smaller than a dime.
Okay, so tiny.
Yes, very small.
That's very cool. Well, you have agreed to do the cache highlight for us this episode. And the cache was called Spoiler.
That's right.
And it was GC9PK9J. And it just so happens it's one of those mystery puzzle caches you were just talking about. So what can you tell us about this cache?
What's a puzzle cache? I mean, I can't tell you anything. No. So I decided, in my previous caching handle, which was with my family, we had planted a few caches, and one of them's still out there. It's pretty remote and often a cross-country ski thing, and so it doesn't get found often, but as a result, it survived a long time. But as the travel bugs handle, I've released a lot of travel bugs, as you would imagine. But I had never planted a cache. I realized I never really planted a cache as the travel bugs. So I thought I kind of owe it, for all the people that are out there planting stuff so that I can find it. I feel like I need to plant a few. And so I decided I'm going to plant some caches that are themed on the songs. And so the first one I chose was Spoiler. It is a puzzle cache because the puzzle is a spoiler photo. I'll just
Yeah, I went to the cache page and looked at it, and I laughed when I saw
what
was in the photo of the red herring. Yeah.
I figured some people will get that, but yeah, it's
I got a chuckle out of that one. I was like, oh, that's lovely. The photo is a red herring itself.
Yeah. And I had to ask someone who is a much more seasoned geocacher than I was. I put the puzzle, a prototype of it out, and said, go solve this and tell me what the difficulty is. Because I didn't know. I thought, have I invented a new puzzle, or has someone already done this or whatever? And I thought, ooh, this is new and unique. And he was like, yeah, this isn't that new. And actually you were pretty kind. Like, so it is a difficulty too. It isn't the hardest puzzle on the planet, but it's fine. I want people to find it.
So when they find it, I don't want you to give too much away, but is the container something unexpected?
No, not really. It does say spoiler on it. I did a little video where Mike doing the video. No, it's a pretty standard urban hide.
Okay.
The find itself is not. It's not anything different. It was really the puzzle. I wanted to do a puzzle where the puzzle was an image, like a spoiler image. So I wanted to kind of do a nod towards that song. And the next one, I'm working on one to plan. I'm just trying to find a location. I want to do one for The Worst Cacher, which is the single I was talking about. It's not actually on the album. And I'm trying to figure out how to work in DNFs into it. Oh. At first, I thought like, how about a challenge cache where you have to have a certain number of DNFs? But I was told by someone that might not be cool, like that might not be allowed by the rules for some reason, because you encourage people to go out and log DNFs and skew the stats and stuff. So I'm thinking I could either do it where you say, oh, you just have to have at least one DNF, and it won't really skew stats. Maybe they'll approve that everybody has one D. Or what might be even better is, in order to log the cache, you have to share your favorite DNF story. Share your log has to be a post where you talk about some time that you didn't find something and why, the special, and that, and then because it's all about the song The Worst Cacher is about a guy who's cached for 20 years and has never found a single cache. Oh. So, and it's sort of like I say, an Irish drinking song. So I'm also thinking I want to put it somewhere near a craft beer establishment so people can go maybe raise a glass afterwards or something like that. So
there you go.
Yeah, I'm trying to have fun with it. I want to put some creativity into it so people hopefully enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Well, I'm trying to think how that would work with a challenge cache, and because there's a rule that there has to be a checker now.
Yes, I believe so.
So
can that be checked? I don't know. At first I thought, all these challenge caches are rewarding you for positive numbers, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I want to reward the people who are honest, who like log their, like I think if you don't find it, you should log it. You should, and so, but then, like I said, someone was telling me, they said, well, this might not be allowed because you might get people who say, well, let's say I made it 100 DNFs. There might be someone who's like, all right, I'm just going to go pick 100 caches that I have no intention of finding and log DNFs just so I can get this challenge cache. And I don't want to skew stats or make suddenly people are like, why is everybody not finding my cache?
Yeah.
I don't want to cause that. I don't want to cause trouble. I want to make it fun, but I don't. So I thought if I made it small enough that everybody would qualify, like if you haven't logged one DNF, I mean, come on.
Yeah. I think you geocache long enough and everybody's going to have at least one at some point.
Right.
It's just,
right.
did you log it or not is the question.
So, or like I said, I could just make it where people could share stories. Maybe put a journal in it, and you write your DNF story in the
Oh,
journal.
that would be neat.
So people find the cache, they can like read back through other people's horror stories, you know.
Well, you have a cache highlight for us.
Oh,
And
yes, I do.
we were talking about this a bit before we started recording, and it sounds really interesting. So I'm sure the listeners are going to love this one.
All right, well, it's a virtual geocache, and it's located in Southern Oregon. The GC number is GC9, P as in Paul, 4, V as in Victor, H as in Hotel. And it's called Pioneer Resting Place. And you can probably catch that it's going to be a cemetery. It's located in the town of Jacksonville, Oregon. And Jacksonville was the original county seat for Jackson County. It was a big boom town during the gold rush back in the 1840s, 1850s. Well, this is the Wild West. There's a lot of pioneers up there. And there was cowboys and Indians. There were some battles between them. There was a family that was attacked and killed. Well, the husband was killed, the son was kidnapped, the mother and daughter made it back to Jacksonville, Oregon. Well, they stayed there the rest of their lives. Now, this geocache is a virtual. The only thing you have to do to claim it is they list a brochure that you can view online and take a picture of one of these headstones. Well, it turns out that one of these headstones was the husband and wife of this massacre. And what I thought was very interesting is, let's go back about 50 years. I'm a third grade student, and they're taking us to this museum, and they're showing us, the history of Southern Oregon. And in there, I was attracted by a shotgun and a Bible. And it turns out this was the shotgun and the Bible that was used by the wife and daughter in that Indian attack. So, here's this up close and personal piece of history that I learned when I was in third grade. So when it came time to do this geocache, their headstones were one of the ones. So I did that. Now, what I also found out a few years ago, when we went to the museum to visit it, the docket that turned us around and guided us was actually the great granddaughter of the husband and wife that were killed in the Indian attack. So it was like, it kind of brought it home a little bit. Those are the things that I really enjoy about geocaching. They take you to these places that are historically relevant, either to your growing up or to people that are visiting. It's just, whoa. So highly recommend this geocache. It's only been found, let me see, it's always been found about a dozen times now. But Jacksonville's a cool little town. They have a music festival there every year. Chicago's coming this year. ZZ Top will be there in 2 weeks. So, but yeah, that's when I gave it a favorite point again, because actually I gave it a favorite point, but yours truly also has a physical geocache going into the cemetery. So pick up on that one.
Nice.
Pick up on that one on the way in. Yeah, mine was based on when I was going to high school there. They filmed a major motion picture there starring Cliff Robertson. And they turned the town, made it look like the 1880s again. And the opening scenes is they are riding through the cemetery.
Oh, wow.
And it was I'll give you a twofer. I'll give you the GC for that one also. It's GC71 FT. And it's called the Great Northfield, Minnesota Raid. And that was the name of the movie that they filmed in Jacksonville. And one of the things that I always found so interesting about that movie is, they film scenes around town trying to make it look 1880s and all that. Well, when they're riding their horses by the courthouse, they have the same 1960s, 70s metal picnic tables out in front of the hotel. Someone missed that. So it's like, God, it was so obvious. And, but it was a fun movie. It was fun having all these people come through the town. And of course, in Oregon, we're noted for rain, and they filmed it in November. So there were a lot of mud scenes and stuff. But, yeah, that's my second favorite geocache. So anyway, yeah, there's a lot of interesting historical stuff down there, a lot of hiking trails, lots of geocaches.
That's awesome.
So for the cache highlight this week, you have agreed to do a cache highlight for us, and this one is GC7YFR2, Pirates of Misty Cove Dead Man's Chest.
Yeah.
So tell us about this one. It looked like, I looked it up earlier, it was a mystery puzzle cache.
Yeah. So this was a 5-5 cache in Georgia. It was on a lake, and it was on an island in a lake. And we were out in Georgia because we were out there for the Going Caching event that we love to do each year. And I believe this was prior to the event actually happening. We had a couple of our listeners from Australia come out, and they said they wanted to rent a boat and wanted to get a bunch of caches around this lake in Georgia. So of course we said, sure. And so Graham and Kitty Cache rented a boat, and a bunch of us piled in. And on this lake, there were several caches we got, but the coolest one was this Pirates of Misty Cove. And it was a pirate themed cache. And it had really cool ambiance. You walked onto the island, and there's no other way to get onto this little tiny island except by a boat. But when you got there, there was like, they had put so much effort into it to make it cool. They had put out stuff that you might see at Halloween time, like skeletons and tombstones and yeah, full skeletons and skulls and pirate things and so when we got there, we felt like, wow, we were being treated to somebody's hard effort. This is not a simple film can under a lamppost skirt, some thing that somebody just threw out there. And at the end, there was a twist, but it really was a group effort, and we were first to find.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so the two people from Australia that came out were Kitty Cache and Grim Raider. Z-Grav and P Phoenix also came out with us, but yeah, we were first to find on that. So it was a group effort, and it was a lot of fun. But that was out at Lake Lanier, and we were getting old caches as well. So some of the caches that had been out there for a long time, we got those as well. But it was a great experience, incredible day. Weather was perfect. You're in good company with geocachers, and that was one for the book, definitely memorable and one that sticks out.
Do you remember, was it a really difficult puzzle as well to solve?
I don't think, especially with all the people that we had there, I don't think it was super difficult to solve. I think there were just different pieces of it, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a lot of effort went into that. It sounds like a really, really neat setup that they had for that.
Yeah.
So for the cache highlight, you have one for us called Raven's Labyrinth, and the GC code is GC35BKD. So tell me what this geocache is all about.
Yeah, that cache is in Prescott, Arizona. I've been watching it for a long time. I actually was in communication with the cache owner for a little while and talking a little bit. He's got a lot of neat caches. He isn't caching anymore. He adopted all his caches out to Gene and Joe, but the Raven has some amazing caches in the Prescott area. But the Raven's Labyrinth he actually worked with the city, which is amazing the amount of work that they did with them. But they actually made a shelter with the roof and electricity out to it, and it's there's a big map box, and you open one side and it has the trail maps for the trail system there, and then you go around the other side and there's a padlock, and you open that and it's a big maze, big labyrinth, and there's computer voices, lights, and it's over the top amazing. It's just so much fun to play with it. And there's different stages, so if you get to stage 1, it'll open up so you can log it, and then if you get to stage 2, it'll do another thing, and I think it might be 3 stages, and if you get all the way through, you'll get your name on an engraved plaque on there. Your name will be on the web page. I think they buy you dinner. It's just amazing. Yeah, it's one of the best caches I've seen.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So there's three parts. You only have to complete the first part to qualify for the find log.
Yep.
But the next 2 parts get so difficult that if you make it through the third and final one, you get your name engraved on a plaque.
Yeah, that's basically what I remember in a way.
That's awesome.
Right now it's disabled. They're waiting on some parts for it, but and I don't doubt they'll get it back out. Like I say, it is such a neat cache. As far as favorite points, I want to say it's still running at 100% favorite points. Everybody that finds it favorites it.
That's impressive. How did you find out about this? Were you just down the area and looking on the app or whatever and said, oh, this one has a lot of favorite points, let's go there? Or how did you find out about it?
I think I seen it in the forums somewhere, and I looked it up and seen how many favorites it had, and the percentage wise how they're high favorited. And so then I looked at the cache owner, and I seen all his caches had lots of favorites. So we had made a plan to go up to Arizona, do some caching. A friend of mine from Winnipeg and and then a week later, then my wife joined me, and he went back home. So then my wife and I zipped up to Prescott, and then of course we had to go up to Grand Canyon and a few other places, Soto and M. But the caches in Prescott are pretty amazing, all the ones that we did of his.
That's cool. You said there was a padlock. Does it say on the cache description how to open the padlock, or how do you get past that?
Yeah, that first padlock was on the cache description page, and you just open that, and then the whole top flips up, and it, like I say, it's also funny because so you're working this maze, this steel ball around, and there's holes and obstacles you have to avoid, and it'll drop through the hole, and then the computer will say something, come on, you got to do better than that, and things like that. It's just I had so much fun working with it, and I think it took me 16 times before I finally got into the first to get the door open.
Oh, just for the first one?
Just the first door.
Wow. Yeah. Did you get past the first door?
Yeah, we did. We got the first door open, so we got past that, and then it's right away you're off. The ball falls down the hole or something. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. I would have liked to stayed there and worked on it longer, but it was starting to get cold and dark and rainy, so we said, we better go.
So did you get a chance to complete the second phase, or did you have to stop at phase 1?
Yeah, we got to phase 1, and then we figured out like I say, it was starting to get late, and we had to get on the move. But I was hoping to go get it again this year, bring a couple of friends up there. But like I say, it was disabled when we were down there this year. So.
Well, hopefully they'll get it back active soon, because it sounds absolutely amazing, and it sounds like one that you need to plan most of your day to just get that one cache.
Maybe people are more coordinated than I am too. It's a fun cache. It's just fun.
It sounds like it. Well, you have a cache highlight for us. It is GC1XBVY. And that is GeoQuest.
Okay,
Is that right?
sure. That's my.
Did I get it right?
Is it VY? Yeah, that's that's the first one of my GeoQuest series I wrote in 2009. It's Zany Squirrel. That's one of 5 text-based interactive fiction games. And that is a lot of fun to play. It's probably my oldest puzzles out there. I still keep it around because people like playing the game.
So this is the text-based similar to Zork.
Right. And you start out and just in front of a mailbox in front of a White House, just like Zork. And you will get you have to wait for some mail, and a GPS will arrive in the mail, an online GPS, and you have to figure out in the GPS, you program it to tell it what cache to look for. It will tell you what direction it is, and you try to solve the puzzles. But it's all text based, and that was fun to write too. Interactive fiction. That took a long time.
So this text-based game, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So are you actually in the world following the text-based game in real life, or is it just all text-based and then you come to the end and get the coordinates?
Well, you're in a location. You move around like EmberQuest. But no graphics, so it has to tell you in text what you see, like a book.
Okay.
And you have a prompt, a computer prompt, where you can type in, like, and for instance, the first scene in GeoQuest, you're in front of you see a mailbox, and it says it's closed. You can say examine the mailbox, and it'll say, and type out examine mailbox, and it says the mailbox sits on top of a wooden frame, painted in white to match the house exterior. It's excruciatingly devoid of mail. And then you'd say open the mailbox, and it's it tells you open the mailbox. And you try to move, and it says you got to wait for the mail, and you go to the White House, and you just you can ask it to describe more in detail about the house, or about the mailbox, or the path, or what you see, and you just try to figure out based on the text clues where to go and what to do.
Okay.
And there's some humor in there, and I like the puzzles. And this especially has a lot of references to local cachers. There's a lot of like hidden Easter eggs for the local cachers that they would recognize their name and or something about them that makes them laugh.
Oh, that's neat.
So no other cacher would like get it. They're like, oh, kind of weird humor, but the actual cacher, if someone knows the cacher, would get it and laugh too. So I like a little personality in the game.
Okay. And so all 5 of them, do they all start out the same way, where you're all 5 in the series, you're at the mailbox waiting, or do the next ones in the series kind of pick up where the last one left off?
So it's all one world, just like EmberQuest.
Okay.
So you have to map. It's a good idea to draw a map when you move, so you can get back to where you came from, so you don't get lost. And once you find, you set GPS to a certain cache. Once you find it, then you change your GPS to another cache and solve different puzzles. But it's all the same world. And this one's special, and it has 5 caches. So you find the first 4 in the game. It gives you the coordinates, and you go out in the real world, and inside the physical cache in the real world will give you clues to find that you go back to the game and use the clues that you found in the real world in the game to find the 5th cache. And you go out and find the 5th cache. So you need to go out, actually find all the 4 caches. So in order to finish the puzzle for the 5th cache.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've seen series like that before where you have to collect data to solve for the final, but never where you take it and put it back into a video game world to solve that
Right.
way.
Yeah. Different
That's
twist.
an interesting twist.
Yeah, if you know me, you know I don't like to do things the same way. I have my own path.
Very cool. I'm gonna check those out, and I'm guessing it's all online as
Yes.
well,
Yep.
not smartphone friendly game.
I haven't tried playing this on a smartphone on a modern. I wrote it in 2009, so I'd be curious. You might be able to play it on a smartphone now. I haven't tried.
You've been listening to Geocache Adventures with me, Shadow Dragon 1. If you'd like to get in touch, you can reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, or go to geocacheadventures.org and you can find the information on the contact page. Theme music is by The Travel Bugs. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Have you heard of FTF Magazine? It's the magazine for geocachers. It is full of articles and pictures all submitted by geocachers just like you. I'm a subscriber myself, and I love it. My favorite part is the little snippets on the edges of the articles on all the different pages. Those are my favorites. Just go to ftfgeo.com to check them out and tell them Shadow Dragon 1 sent you.